Hey, what's going on, guys? Saiyan here, back with a brand new What If. Today, we explore a very interesting, but very possible idea that could have easily happened in Dragon Ball. What if Ox King raised Goku? Or, alternative title would be What if Goku landed at Ox King's palace? Before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe. It'll only bring you more videos. If you want to follow my socials, link in the description for that, as well as the Discord server. It's a cool place to chill, so just come and join. Without further ado, let's get right into the scenario. For starters, how would Goku end up landing at Ox King's palace? Well, we don't really need to think about that too much, because the simple answer is, his pod suffers some turbulence or the coordinates are just a smidge different. Nonetheless, Goku's pod crashes down towards Earth, and lands right outside of Ox King's palace, creating a massive crater. Ox King comes out of his house, thinking he and his baby are in trouble, but what he finds is another baby. This time, with a tail? Now, I'm not sure what he would call Goku in this scenario. I could see the Ox King calling him Roshi, after his master Roshi, or maybe even Gohan. But I will stick with Goku for simplicity's sake. Of course, Ox would end up taking Goku in, and like we all know, he's a rowdy kid. However, Ox would be much better than Gohan at handling Goku, because he actually has that experience. Speaking of, don't forget Chi-Chi. She's the same age as Goku. So while he is very rowdy, he and Chi-Chi would still start to form a bond. It won't be a lovey-dovey bond though, because the Ox King is raising Goku as a brother to Chi-Chi, so that won't be happening. RIP. Goku might not hit his head here though. However, I feel like growing up with Chi-Chi and just being raised up with Ox would turn him into a better person and much more calm. Of course it wouldn't happen overnight, but eventually. Now, one thing we really need to discuss is power levels and such. A lot of people assume that the Ox King's base power level is 900 all throughout the series, but I hate to tell you that is so wrong. Ox King's power level was 900 in the Tree of Might movie, which is far later than we first see him. It has been stated that Goku and Piccolo are the strongest people on Earth in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, so I feel like a good power level to put the Ox King on would be 139 to 145. That's the same power level Roshi had at the start of Dragon Ball, and considering he was trained by Roshi, he would be around there. As for Goku, it's a little more complicated. Goku's power level at the very start of Dragon Ball was 2, and after 9 years of being on Earth, it went up to 10. When training with Roshi, it was between 10 and 15. Let's just say 12. After 8 months of training, which is very important, Roshi had increased his power level 7-fold, from 12 to 86. Now, in this scenario, he's having 9 years of training with Ox, and he would train Goku and Chi-Chi the same way he was, so it would be the same benefit as Roshi's training. 9 years is 108 months, which we would divide by 8 to get how many 8 months are in 108, which gets us to 13.5. We multiply that by 7 for the multiplier he would get every 8 months, which then gets us to a 94.5 times overall multiplier. So, Goku's starting power level of 2 when he arrived would be multiplied by 94.5 for the complete 9 years. That gets him to a power level of 189 at the start of Dragon Ball. And some of you might be thinking, because of the higher power levels we have now, that's not a lot. But it's actually stronger than his power level in the 10 Shinhan Saga. And this is a Goku whose power level was at 12, not even that, at the start of Dragon Ball, which is now 189. And speaking of, we also have Chi-Chi at the start of Dragon Ball, and she's been there the entire time. She and Goku are the same age, and her power level is probably 1 by the time Goku arrives, because she isn't a Saiyan and she's a normal human baby. So she also doesn't have Saiyan potential, and for that, I would give her a 92 times increase, putting her at a power level of 92. And that is still a very high power level, considering Goku was at 86 post Roshi training. Now, we finally enter Dragon Ball. Of course, it all starts with Bulma. On her hunt for the Dragon Balls, she eventually runs into Gohan. Without Goku to swat him, Gohan would be very alive. This means that when Bulma shows up at his house, he would greet her. And unlike Goku, Gohan knows who women are, so he wouldn't treat her like Goku did. When Bulma sees the Dragon Ball, she asks for it and explains the story. Although Gohan is a little reluctant, he has had that ball for a very long time. It's his prized possession. Bulma then convinces him, if you know what I mean, and he actually tags along with her, wanting to see these Dragon Balls for himself. This way, most of their troubles go a lot more easily. Without Goku's careless attitude, they get things done faster. Gohan is glad to see Master Roshi once more, and Turtle. Also, Oolong is dealt with pretty easily. He then tags along like normal. They then run into Yamcha, and unlike Goku, Gohan is easily able to defeat him. There is no rematch. Yamcha also tags along, because he wants to learn from the great Gohan. Being where and who he is, Yamcha would have surely heard stories about the powerful hermit. He doesn't care that it's not Roshi or anything, but it is his pupil. Gohan would accept this offer, so long as Yamcha doesn't steal from them. At Fire Mountain, Gohan and the Ox King reunite, and they are happy to see each other. Bulma also meets Goku and Chi-Chi. Gohan ends up using the Kamehameha to take out the fire, and Goku mimics it, which intrigues Gohan, and both Goku and Chi-Chi actually come with the group. And now there is a lot of Dragon Ball hunters. Ox King actually wants Chi-Chi to go and isn't overprotective of her, because he knows she's going with her brother, and Gohan. Yamcha never builds up the courage to talk to Bulma, so Goku takes up that role. I do want to mention, Gohan got the Nimbus Cloud and decided to take it with him, possibly to give it to his pupil. He realized Yamcha probably wasn't going to become pure of heart, so after finding Goku, he lets Goku try it out, and of course he's able to use it, and ride the cloud. Next up, we have the Rabbit Mob, and that whole debacle goes very different. There is no problem and no one gets turned into a carrot. Gohan being there and Goku being much stronger, also following in his lead, takes the whole crew down with no issue. Also, their encounter with the Pilaf gang ends up with Oolong making the same wish, and the next part doesn't go as well for them either. They all get trapped. Gohan wakes up and is about to just use the Kamehameha to bust out, and that's when Goku starts to grow. Bigger and bigger. Chi-Chi realizes what's happening and explains that it's too late. Goku's about to turn into a giant monkey ape. That's right, they have encountered this before. Goku would have definitely still turned into a great ape once, and since Gohan survived his first encounter, that's how he knows about it, then the Ox King with the same training would too. He would tell Goku not to go out when the moon is up, and also tell Chi-Chi to keep him from doing so. This extra assistant is exactly what keeps him from killing the Ox King. So, now that Goku has turned into a giant monkey ape great ape, not only do Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong do their usual thing, but Gohan and Chi-Chi are there as well, and that really helps out, being that they are pretty strong. Together, they try to cut off Goku's tail, but since Goku's power level is 189, with a great ape boost, he would be at above 1000. So they struggle a lot, but they come up with a plan. Gohan and Chi-Chi draw the main fire, and while Goku's distracted because he's out of control, Yamcha, Puar, and Oolong do the tail business. They're able to work this plan out, and it works. Goku's tail is cut off, and afterwards, Gohan volunteers to train Goku. He of course agrees. But not only that, Yamcha and Chi-Chi also come with. Because Goku started to talk to Bulma, Yamcha never got to come with and face his fears. This results in Bulma being interested in Goku, and being Goku, he tells Bulma to wait. After he finishes his training, he will find her. With this news, they mostly go their separate ways. Not a lot of stuff happens in the following 8 months till the tournament. Instead of Goku training with Roshi, he trains with Gohan. This also means he still hasn't met Roshi. This training would be less beneficial, not only for him but for Chi-Chi as well. The two have basically already done everything Gohan has to teach, but this leads to more advanced training, sparring between the three. This way, they still have something to gain from it. Yamcha on the other hand gets a lot stronger from this, far more than originally. His power level in the normal 21st World Martial Arts Tournament was 45. He would probably be around 12 at the start of his training, and if we used a 7 times boost from the start of the video, he would be at 84, nearly double his original power. Another person we have to talk about is Krillin. He would end up training with Roshi like normal, but with no Goku, he stays as smug as ever. Although his time with Roshi does discipline him a little bit, he would probably be slightly weaker than normal, because he isn't as motivated due to there being no Goku. I know you guys are probably tired of power levels, and trust me, so am I, this took a lot of math, but let's do power levels right before the tournament starts. Goku is at 245. Due to his lack of learning new things and getting everything out of his training, he wouldn't get the 7 times increase. But this is extremely powerful this early on. Moving on, Chi-Chi would be at 150, Yamcha at 84, Krillin at 75, and both Gohan and Roshi would be a little stronger. Going into the competition, Roshi would know that since Gohan is entering, he would need to train a little bit more, so they would both be stronger. But with that, let's get into the tournament. With Chi-Chi and Gohan entering, they would replace Ranfam and Giran. No, not Jiren, Giran. Krillin goes up against Bacterian, and that fight goes the same. Bacterian is able to get the upper hand on Krillin with his stench, but that's when Goku comes in and actually helps Krillin out. He realizes he doesn't have a nose and is able to jump up repeatedly, punching Bacterian before kicking him out of the ring. He doesn't thank Goku and says it was his idea. Next up is Jackie Chun vs Yamcha. While Yamcha is far stronger than original, so is his opponent. The two go at it, and it's much more interesting, with Yamcha actually being able to land one or more blows. But Jackie catches the attack and tries to use a wind from his fist, but this time that doesn't work. Yamcha attempts his Wolf Fang Fist, which actually leaves him open for a binding technique. This allows for Jackie-chan to knock Yamcha out. Goku and Chi-Chi tell him that he did a good job, but he is still pretty pissed. He didn't get the girl, and he didn't win the match. Since Chi-Chi replaced Ranfam, she fights against Nam. This fight actually goes in her favor by a long shot, and Nam loses, although both Gohan and Roshi approach him with the same offer. Next up is Goku vs. Gohan, who's wearing a mask to not reveal himself. Honestly, how do they not tell? They both have a fierce fight, with both pulling out some techniques like the Kamehameha. Goku uses his tail to get the upper hand on Gohan, but that backfires and Gohan uses it to get the upper hand on Goku. Knocking him around, Gohan then tries the Sleepy Boy technique, which starts to work, but Goku's able to survive. He then goes all out for one last attack, landing a flurry of punches to Gohan. He catches the masked man off guard. Goku follows with a kick, and then a full power Kamehameha that knocks him out. Roshi is actually worried, watching from the sidelines. He isn't sure if he can defeat Goku. Speaking of, he ends up fighting Krillin next, and like normal using the after image technique to win. It's even easier for him because Krillin is weaker. This then leads to another intense match, Goku vs. Chi-Chi. While she is very powerful, Chi-Chi isn't as strong as Goku, although he had just gone up against Gohan, arguably the second to third strongest person there, and so he is very weakened. This results in a mostly even match between brother and sister. They exchange blows and attacks, but eventually Goku gets the upper hand with more powerful Kamehameha, which results in Chi-Chi losing. And for the finale, it will be Jackie-chan versus Son Goku. But that's what we're leaving things off for right now. So what do you guys think about this new series? Did you like that Chi-Chi is more involved? How about Gohan staying alive and Yamcha actually being his pupil? What do you think will happen between Goku and Bulma? And lastly, who do you think will win? Goku or Jackie-chan? Leave any thoughts and suggestions down in the comments below. I'll make sure to check your comments out and respond. But you need to make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be part of the Super Saiyan 4s. It's free and you can always change your mind later. But with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.